As we mentioned, today is the first day of the 10th BRICS Summit, as the current chair of BRICS South Africa has chosen the theme BRICS in Africa, collaboration for inclusive growth and shared prosperity in the fourth industrial revolution. Let's cross over to Sakina and see who she's joined with. Sakina, good morning to you again.
Well, thank you, Leanne. And as you said, we are here at the Sandton Convention Centre, and we're here, of course, for the 10th BRICS Summit, and this time, second time round here on African soil. And much to talk about. You know, we already see the behind-the-scenes negotiations going on. Transnet, they've secured a 4 billion rand loan already from the China State Bank, and the same bank also extending a loan of over 33 billion rand to Eskom. And with me this morning here is Mr. Mabaya, who is from DIRCO. He is the summit spokesperson. So just to give us further insight of what is happening here, and I think perhaps slightly more importantly, why people watching this at home should even care about what's going on at BRICS, as opposed to thinking that perhaps, you know, it's just a nuisance. You're blocking the roads, you are, you know, stopping us from getting to work the way we want to. Yes. Mr. Mabaya, welcome, and please tell the people at home, why should they care about what's happening here?
Morning, and morning to your viewers. I think, you know, the theme of the summit is very important because it talks to shared prosperity, it talks to the fourth industrial revolution. And I think for young people, the summit becomes important because the fourth industrial revolution is about young people. The modernization of the economy requires young people. The digitalization, the technology requires young people. But also all the business engagements that are going to happen here. If you look at Eskom, the loans that they receive, they indicated that they want to upgrade their infrastructure. They also want to use some of that money at Medupi. They want to improve infrastructure in Soweto. If you look at the loans that have been given to Transnet, some of these loans are going to be used to improve and modernize the infrastructure that they have. And that's creating jobs, and that's creating opportunities for development of skills, developing our economy, creating small businesses. So the summit this week is very important, not only for South Africa, it's also important for SADC region. All the SADC heads of states invited, a number of heads of state from the continent also invited. You have seen the presidents who are coming to the summit are visiting African countries before they arrive here. And if you have been monitoring, you'll see that they are making major announcements related to infrastructure. So to all South Africans and also to SADC citizens and to the continent, this summit is going to result in a number of agreements that are going to lead to investments in infrastructure, in economic development, creation of jobs. And we are calling on all South Africans to embrace it and also to look at those opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities for young people, Sakina. I mean, in China, we have got a lot of young people there. The last number that we know, 2,000 teaching English there. A number of companies from South Africa that are investing there. In Russia, in India, in Brazil, import and export. And all of this, it's sustaining our economy, it's creating jobs, and we want small businesses to be involved, especially those led by young people.
And of course, we'll have the Business Council heading the forum here today, where business will come out and engage with one another, and that will be very interesting. But of course, talking about collaboration and, you know, inclusive growth, talking about the outreach to other African countries, and of course, the fourth industrial revolution and what that means. And just this particular operation today, you're talking about more than 200 media organizations coming into the country, more than 200 from China alone. We're talking about, in total, 1,200 journalists accredited for this particular summit. You add to that the 1,100 business people and leaders who will be attending, and this is quite apart from around 20 heads of state, other than the member nations who will be attending. It is massive.
It's a massive summit. I think the whole world is focused to this summit. Just if you look at the request for accreditation from media, there is no major international player whose national broadcaster is not here. From South America, from everywhere, from the European Union. If you look at the business people who are attending today's business forum, more than 1,000 of them are from the whole continent. They are from SADC, they are from Africa, they are from the whole world. So South Africa this week is the center of international relations, is the center of diplomacy, is also the center of business engagement. And you will see after the business forum, a number of agreements are going to be signed, a number of partnerships between South African companies and African countries, companies, and together BRICS companies partnering with South African companies as well. But you know, the issue about the Industrial Revolution, especially the fourth one, is that it requires technology. It requires modernization. And that squarely must be put in the hands of young people. And that's why we have been saying this is a summit that young people must follow very closely and make sure that they exploit those opportunities. And you can only exploit those opportunities if you are reading, if you understand what's going on, and you are also ready to participate.
Thanks so much for talking to us about this, Mr. Ndibuo Mabaya, the summit spokesperson here. And talking about that technology, it is on display because there are spaces at this particular summit where, as Mr. Mabaya puts it, they don't need humans to be there. And that is where the technology comes in, where you just go and you leave the technology and you control it remotely. And hopefully as the summit progresses over the next 3 days, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to bring you just a snippet, just an insight into some of that.